Welcome back, everyone. In response to the controversy surrounding Kanye West's tweet several days ago, a controversy that has caused a lot of infighting amongst conservatives, my friend Ian Haworth has written an op-ed on the latest drama titled "Both the Left and the Right Have Turned on Jews." He writes this in his op-ed that his reasoning for making this claim is because, quote, "I do understand the attitude of wanting to bring culturally powerful people into our tent based on their supposedly aligned views on single-issue topics. Let's leave aside for now the fact that Kanye West's pro-life views are based on anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. However, if there are no entry requirements to the ideological tent, if admission numbers are the only metric of value, what does that tent even represent?" Ian joins me right now to discuss this. He's the host of the show Off Limits with Ian Haworth. Ian, thank you so much for being here. This is something that, conservatives, Kanye has kind of been this cultural icon on the right for a little while. This tweet dropped. A lot of conservatives didn't know what to make of it. They didn't know what to do. Some people were justifying it, defending it, or at the very least saying, he's not anti-Semitic. Your thoughts?
Well, I think first it is by definition anti-Semitic. I think a lot of the attempts to make excuses for it are rooted in a number of things. None of them I agree with. I think by definition it is anti-Semitic. He is calling out Jewish people trying to retroactively saying he was criticizing non-religious Jews who happen to live in Hollywood. It's like, well, he could have said that. He said he was going DEFCON 3, presumably he meant DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. That's by definition anti-Semitic, as is a lot of the other things he said. For example, Hanukkah being about financial engineering. Implying that Jared Kushner wanted peace in the Middle East simply to make money. All of these things are anti-Semitic, and if anyone on the left made any of these comments, we'd be up in arms correctly. And so I think I don't take any of the defenses of Kanye particularly seriously. But it also speaks to the issue I get in this op-ed, that conservatives are so desperate for cultural representation, while also saying that celebrities don't know whatever they're talking about, that when someone like Kanye West comes along and wears a MAGA hat one time or wears a White Lives Matter shirt, at the same time he's trying to sell us his terrible clothing, we just jump in without asking any questions.
Yeah, and quick side note, it is terrible clothing. I've never understood why people buy those products. I mean, he's selling trash bags for like $1,000. I wish I could do that personally. I'd make a hell of a lot of money. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Ian, because it's very obvious that if you swapped out Jew with white, if someone on the left tweeted, I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on all white people, conservatives would obviously be very upset about that. Black conservatives, white conservatives, Jewish conservatives, they would all find that rather racist.
Absolutely. But there's a blind spot for anti-Semitism in the United States on both sides of the political aisle. And I think that's something that people really need to address beneath this. This isn't really about Kanye. I don't think Kanye is a particularly intelligent person. He also has severe mental issues. So I don't think we should be putting any weight behind what he thinks. I care more about the fact that the conservative movement is embracing him simply because he appeared to say one thing they agree with. And really throwing Jews under the bus at the same time. I think we need to be working on a foundation of fighting bigotry wherever we see it. And I speak out against anti-Semitism on the right and the left, and it happens quite often. And I think we need to really go back to those foundational principles before, as I said in the op-ed, just trying to make as big a group as possible, regardless of whether we throw our values down the toilet or not in the process.
Yeah, back when Kanye really started, wearing the MAGA hat back during the Trump rule, I cautioned a lot of people. I said, hey, this is Kanye West we're talking about here. I guarantee you he's going to drop this gig and pick up something else. I actually tweeted exactly that. And it turns out he has indeed picked up on something else. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this, Ian. JP Morgan Chase came out a couple days ago, and they said they're no longer going to be banking with Kanye West, which, obviously he certainly makes them millions and millions of dollars with his financial empire that he's built. Your thoughts on that? Because while I certainly think what he said was terrible, I also think that it's interesting and a dangerous precedent, rather, to see people being punished by having their bank accounts canceled. Because if they can do it to Kanye, if they can do it to this millionaire, world-famous icon, imagine what they can do to the everyday man.
Well, first, we need to understand that the story might not be as clear as it was immediately shown to be. Like I was reading on Twitter just an hour ago that a CNBC journalist said that Kanye told them in an interview that he was the one who was leaving JP Morgan because I think their CEO didn't contact him. And so that's the key issue here, is that people jump to conclusions in the immediate reports. You'll note that the screenshot of the letter to Kanye had the date cropped out of it, whether intentionally or not, we don't know. But the fact is that Kanye West we don't know yet. I want to find out the information before leaping to a conclusion one way or the other. But Kanye West might have broken up with them, and their letter was simply confirmation of that. And one note I want to say, though, is it was very darkly amusing when I saw the explosion of anti-Semitism against the banking world for JP Morgan supposedly, and now apparently not, dropping Kanye West. JP Morgan is not a Jewish bank. JP Morgan actually supported the Nazis during World War II. So my response, kind of ironically, was maybe if Kanye West had gone with the Jewish bank, this may not have happened. It's all just a complete joke. It's irony upon irony upon irony. And I think people need to, whether you're on the left or the right, whenever you see a story that seems too good to be true, it may be. So just pump the brakes a little bit and look for the facts. And I think the facts here that Kanye may have broken up with JP Morgan, if true, a massive part of this story that we need to uncover a little bit more.
Yeah, patience is certainly a virtue, especially when it comes to reporting on stories and waiting till you have everything together. Why do you think, granted that's true, and that would obviously be a big spin on this story. Why do you think Kanye decided to cut ties with JP Morgan Chase if he did, as you said?
I've no idea. I don't know why Kanye does anything. Why did Kanye at an Adidas meeting show them pornographic videos during a business meeting? Like, what Kanye does doesn't make any sense. The guy is openly bipolar. I don't think we should be trying to rationalize the irrational here. And again, there's why he broke up with them. I don't really care. I care when people are making vastly anti-Semitic conclusions based on the fact that he may have walked away from them. Really, this is all about anti-Semitism for me. I don't care about Kanye. I'm not losing a second of sleep over what Kanye does or thinks. I don't think he's a particularly moral person. I am more appalled by the conservatives who are setting fire to their values to try and embrace someone because they want to feed off the cultural scraps that are falling from him.
I had my friend Josh Hammer on the show when this all first went down, and we essentially agreed that you have to have accountability on both sides, and we definitely don't want to be the side pointing the fingers at the left when we're not willing to do some self-reflecting ourselves. So with that, Ian Haworth, host of Off Limits, great to have you on the show, my friend. Great to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.